Welcome in to Talking 262. This is the RKC Third Coast Podcast. I'm Arnav Pokhrel, your host. I'm joined by Karsten Luedtke, Wayne Howard. Karsten, you've been around the club for a year now. Wayne, obviously, you're the owner of this club, but I'm new here. I'm the new guy standing in this seat. I'm going to introduce myself first before I let you guys talk a little bit. So I'm a sophomore at Syracuse University. I'm studying broadcast and digital journalism. This is my second year in the USL leagues. I was with a different club last year. This is my first year with RKC. I just came into Racine a couple days ago. Really loving the city, not loving the construction, I will say. But I'm excited to be here, and I'll let you guys take the floor.
All right, sounds good. I'm Karsten Luedtke. I'm a junior at Union Grove High School. I announced there. I'm the voice of the Broncos. So I'm excited to join this. I've been part of RKC Third Coast for a year and really enjoyed it.
All right. So Wayne Howard, one of the principal owners of RKC Third Coast of the USLW and USL League Two. Again, excited for our year two of this experience. Happy to have Karsten back with us a second year and to get a guy of your caliber, Arnav. It's fantastic.
I appreciate that. So what are we going to talk about this episode? We'll give you a quick episode preview here. Well, we got the RKC introductions. We've introduced ourselves. We're going to talk about the expansion of the club, changing the logo. That's been a big part of the news. And then we're going to go into our preview. USLW League, we're going to give all the players that we've announced, give them some flowers, talk about them, some of the returners, some of the new players. We'll talk into the divisional rundown, so the Heartland Division. We'll talk about, Minnesota, Aurora, River Light, all those clubs that we're going to be playing this year. Me and Karsten have predictions. Wayne, I don't know if you can give them, but we'll ask you about them and what you think, how the league will shake up.
Absolutely.
We'll look around the leagues. That's presented by Carthage College, so that's going to be, a look around both League Two and the W League in general, and then we'll get you prepped for the next week and what time we're going to be airing our episode next week as well. So first off, Wayne, I'm going to direct this straight to you. RKC. What is RKC? What does it stand for, and how did this idea come about?
All right, so RKC Third Coast. RKC simply stands for Racine and Kenosha counties. It was actually a placeholder name. While we searched for our name, we put a contest out for the community to name it. We took in suggestions, and as a placeholder, again, we used, instead of Racine, Kenosha counties, we just did RKC. There was a lot of positive feedback on that tag of RKC. So we kind of incorporated it into each of the top achievers for names, and then when we put them out to vote, RKC Third Coast ended up being number one vote. It was submitted by Rachel Hagan and the Hagan family, who I've known for a number of years, and great soccer family.
And for you, Karsten, I mean, having pre-professional soccer locally to where you're from, how important was that for you to have a good caliber of soccer nearby that you could watch and now that you're involved with?
It was super interesting. I really enjoyed the games. They were fun to watch. I wasn't even that into soccer until I got into this, but it's just so much action. It was fun to watch, and I got, to be with great people like Wayne to help me out. So I really appreciated that, and it was great to watch and observe, and it was a good first season.
So speaking of a good first season, I will want to shift it a little bit to the logo. Last year's logo was busy. I won't lie. You had the red circle, you had the bird, the sunrise, the lettering. Now we've slimmed it down a little bit and made it into an oval, which is a little bit different for new clubs. Still got the bird in there, still got the sunrise in there, but you add a blue color along with that red and gold. Wayne, talk about that process of, first coming up with the idea, knowing that we need to change your logo, and then going through with it, bringing on Full Kit Designs, who have been great to me and you and helping us, expand this brand a little bit.
No, absolutely. So, the original logo came through just a process of 3 or 4 different designers kind of putting some stuff together, and kind of bounced back and forth with some different ideas, with some different people taking it on. And honestly, we were delayed in our announcement so late last year, that in terms of getting ourselves to that point, right, it was a challenge to get there. And we wanted something that represented the area, not just like the city of Racine or the city of Kenosha, but just the region as a whole. Going into this year, right after towards the middle to the end of last season, one of the owners of Full Kit, Robbie Lang, who's a local here, went to the Prairie School. He actually played U23 summer soccer for me for a summer when he was up at Madison. He reached out and said, "Hey, we've got this company. We've been around for a couple years, but we want to get it going." Right? All three of the owners are from Racine. We all went to Prairie School. We all played soccer. We love what you're doing. We want to help out and be involved in this way. So that kind of started off, and it was going to be with uniform. And then as we got into the process, we looked at just overall comprehensive branding, and that's kind of what they bring with. So we decided let's start with a badge and kind of bring that and have something that is distinct, right? My former youth club I was at, I designed the badge. It was a circle. There's only a couple clubs with circles. Now everybody's got circles. And so when they presented their concepts, right, we wanted them to include conceptually the same stuff we had, but to convey the same message, but kind of in a unique way that can be distinct. And you look at it and you know who it belongs to and what it is, right? In that oval, right, we put it to a handful of people, maybe 5, 6, 7 people, and the selections they gave us, it always came back to that oval. And it was I look at it and I love it more and more every time I look at it.
Karsten, for you, for someone who was in the club last year, now you see this change. What were your first thoughts when you saw that logo change kind of be public? We had teased it, I think, just for a day before we released the logo. So what were your first thoughts when you saw it change?
I like just keeping it more simple, and I honestly think it looks better. I like it.
Perfect. That's all we need to know. I mean, that's a good thing for us, and it's a good thing for Full Kit Design as well. I know they're very happy with the product, and we've got them with the jerseys this year as well, and
Correct.
a lot of good help from them over at Full Kit Designs. You can check them out on Instagram. I think they're linked somewhere in our post. I couldn't tell you their name off the top of my head.
Full Kit Wankers.
There it is. Full Kit Wankers. For the Instagram, for our design company, they've been great. We appreciate all the help. But it's not just the logo. It's now expansion into the USL Youth and now the USL Academy. Youth soccer has always been something that you've been involved with, Wayne. You mentioned that just a couple moments ago with Racine United. But now bringing youth soccer to RKC, what was kind of the decision like going into that?
Sure. So we had kicked around the idea in terms of how do we engage more with the youth? Like our focus was and is our first teams, but how do we branch out, make people aware of what we're doing in this level of soccer? So we had talked about it. We didn't know if we wanted to do it last year, this year, next year for USL Youth. But with the academy, we knew at some point we'd get to the academy. Honestly, in January, February, we were still thinking just men's and women's, and it became just the amount of interest in our second year, the amount of younger people, just going off to college, coaches reaching out, directors reaching out. If you could just get him in for training, if you could just do this, I know that he's probably ready. And just the volume of people that kept reaching out, it's like, we could probably start a second group. And right, my son Hayden was with us last year, got a job, went off to UIndy as an assistant coach at UIndy. He was back, we were talking, said it might be right to go for academy. And, just the connections that I built through the youth game previously, they've been very supportive and suggesting and recommending some of their top players coming to us. They talked to them, we talked to them, and put together a really good academy group this year. So we're really, really excited what that's going to look like. And the hope for the academy is in 2 to 3 years that a good amount are making the core of our first team on the men's, and then next year we'll have the women's. On the youth side, getting into USL Youth, again, it was kind of going back and forth. Do we want to do this? Is this the right time? Should we do it? And just talking with some of the clubs, one of the clubs, Polonia, that is, I've worked with them for years. With all the other things that I've done, they're a fantastic group of people. It got brought up with them. It got brought up with another couple clubs. I said, look, if we can work out of your place, I don't want to be down in Racine, Kenosha. There's already a USL youth group that's coming out of Kenosha. I don't want to conflict. Can we provide an opportunity for, that's Milwaukee County area? And right, you were at tryouts last night. You saw the boys, 12s and 14s. Some really good players come out for it. So the whole point of that is to get to a point where that feeds our academy in years to come. Doing in the summer when they can still do their core club experience where we don't conflict with that, where it's an enhancement, it's a supplemental program, something that they know that we're not going to look and try to bring them to another youth club. And as well as we're bringing in college coaches to come and coach those kids. Coaches that don't have a vested interest in a youth club in the area, but just in the game as a whole, and also see our mission as an organization to really put high-level soccer out there, for the college-age kids. And they love it. They love that opportunity. Next year, I know the academy will encompass probably 17s, 18s, and 19s. This year, it's all college age guys, going off to college age guys, but they're coming from programs that have won national championships in USL Youth, MLS Next players, ECNL National League players, guys that are all going off to D1 schools, a lot of D1 players from the local area, from Lake County up to through Milwaukee County. And it was really exciting to see that group. And then some of the same clubs where we're getting those academy players, the younger players are coming from as well.
Right.
And it provides an opportunity for them to get into the USL ecosystem, which is the only one that goes from youth up to the pro levels,
right,
through academy, with the different divisions, right? That's, in some regards, MLS is chasing USL in terms of putting that landscape and ecosystem together.
Of course.
So that's why we chose USL, for that opportunity to bring people through, because the catchphrase pathway that everybody uses, right? It's there's a legitimate pathway, and that can be with us, and they can still have their club experience.
And Karsten, for you, I mean, the academy side, especially, you're seeing a lot of people you go to school with, like people your age getting involved with the club. I mean, how cool is it to see that? We've got a lot of local players, a lot of local good players going off to Western Illinois. I know player going to UPenn as well, UW Milwaukee, players staying local. How cool is it to see, I mean, players your age, that getting involved with the club?
I think it's very cool. I also know the Hagen family. They got 2 really good soccer players over there. They actually live in my street, so they've been good friends of mine since I'd say around 4th grade. It's good to see them. It's a really good opportunity for all of them as well, especially in the academy. You get to showcase all your skills, get all these help from all these people, and with the academy going on, RKC Third Coast consistently in their league's going to keep getting good players just cycling through.
Yeah, and we don't have a schedule yet, but it's coming soon. I'm looking at you for that.
Coming through. So we don't have a full division of fully recognized division. There's 6 clubs in it, and it's not it's a combination of Heartland and Deep North. Like we only have men in it this year. Next year with women. So we kind of got put into pods to play, and we're also putting together some scrimmages against Rochester, home and home with them, as well as St. Croix, and then looking to play some UPSL teams locally. There's 3, one out of Illinois, one out of Milwaukee, one out of Madison, that we should be getting on schedule very, very soon. We're going to be 8 to 10 games, so we're really, really excited about that.
Yeah.
And just that opportunity to build, that middle program between high school to college.
Yeah, I think it's Frozen Coast Division, I think, has us, the 2 Chicago teams, and then you got the Deep North with St. Croix, Rochester, and I think Flora or another team in that region.
Dakota Alliance.
You're right. Yeah, Dakota it is. So yeah, those 6 teams all close by. I mean, the youth game's really growing, and RKC right on top of it with the youth side as well. Well, starting to break here in a minute, but we do want to remind you, we still have a ton of sponsorship opportunities available. So if you do want to reach out to us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, me or Wayne, someone will respond to it. I know the one off the top of my head that we were mentioning, pre-game and post-game sponsor. That's a big one for us that we're still looking for in terms of broadcast. And if you want to sponsor the podcast as well, you can always reach out to us here for that. We'll take a quick step aside. When we're back, this is going to be the meat of our show, the USLW League preview, roster rundown, divisionals, and predictions. We'll be right back on Talking 262.
Located in southeast Wisconsin, come discover Racine County. Plan your visit today at visitracinecounty.com.
All right, we're back into talking 262, and it's time for the USL W League roster rundown. We're going to go position by position and player by player, talk a little bit about every player that we've announced so far, and then we'll talk with Wayne a little bit about, the position as a whole and how we think it'll improve from last year, a couple of changes as well from last season. Wish we could have Coach Burke on with you for this one because obviously he knows a lot more as well. He's in Illinois.
He's doing what he's doing, what he always does, and he's coaching kids right now.
He's coaching. We're going to start off with the goalkeepers. The first one on our list here is Ella Cradishville. She's a returner. She didn't play much last year because I think it was end of high school season, but she played a lot at Eastern Illinois, played 12 games there as a freshman, 1.36 goals against average, 3 shutouts in just under 1,000 minutes. So really strong play there for Ella. And then I know you got a newcomer here in the goalkeeper room for our next signing.
Yep. So we got Taylor Primack at Holy Cross College. She made 47 starts, played over 4,200 minutes, and posted a 1.42 GAA with a 0.792 save percentage. And then she also had 16 shutouts in her time with the Saints, so really good defender there, good goalkeeper to have.
And then rounding out the goalkeeping unit, Greta Harns. She's a returner who played a majority of the games last year, at least a half, if not a full game. Bryan and Stratton College, local in Wisconsin. So 3 really good goalkeepers, whether you got the 2 returners, you got a returner with a lot of experience in Greta, you got a returner who played a little bit in the USLW League last year, and Ella, who played a lot in college. And you've got the newcomer in Taylor, who's got insane numbers. It's a really talented goalkeeping group.
It is. We are very excited about the team as a whole, but starting with that back line with goalkeepers. Yeah, Ella, right, she won a state championship at Muskego, came in, she played one half of a game against Aurora. She showed every skill and tool possible in that 45 minutes that any program would love to have in their goalkeeper, right? She's got height, athleticism. She read the game really, really well. We were up 1-0 on Aurora. I think we're the only ones might have been the only ones that scored on them last year. And then down 2-1 at the half, solely to her. Like she made some ridiculous saves. Very excited to have her back. Taylor is, we had 4 or 5 goalkeepers last year. Taylor approached us late. We weren't able to get her in, but she's local to Northern Illinois. So we have a lot of talent from there this year, which we're very, very happy about. Very, very good kid. Works hard. I know she's transferring, so we're looking to I know she'll get some minutes, especially early. There might be some injuries happening with Ella that she's going to be coming back from right away. So Taylor should get some minutes, as well as Greta. She was a committed kid that she worked her tail off. She played Brighton Stratton for John, just a really good team player. It's John's decision on who plays, but I think there'll be a lot of work there, and Hayden will be doing goalkeeper coaching with them, with the women this year, as he did with the men last year. And, it's going to be very, very competitive day in and day out.
All right, we're going to move to the defenders. Next line up in that defensive unit. Starting out, 4 straight returners. First one, Megan McNeely, UW La Crosse. She played in 23 games last season, over 1,200 minutes, I should say, in 2023. So a lot, experience there at the back end. And then, keep continuing with experience, another returner for us from North Dakota.
Yep, Afina McGinn. So she played 328 minutes, and then she also started 6 games in the USLWL League last summer. So she's got some experience.
Another one with experience, Lizzie Hansett, 15 matches for UW La Crosse in last fall, 9 matches for us in the USLW League last season as well. And another returner, so we're keeping with the returners, this one from the state.
So we got Ella Labarsky. She was a freshman last year. She hails from Waukesha, Wisconsin, and then she was a team captain there, so we got some experience there, a leader there. That'll really help that defensive unit, I think.
Yeah, she's from Catholic Memorial, which I know is where John coached a majority of his.
Yeah, he left right before she came. She came for her freshman year was the year after John stopped coaching there.
And John got we were going to talk about this with him, and now he's not here, but he got his Wisconsin Soccer Hall of Fame nomination. We'll get into that in a little bit, but I do want to preview that coming up.
All right.
We got 2 newcomers next up on the defensive lines. First off, Edie Klebanow from UW Platteville. She won 2 state titles with Muskego. We mentioned, Ella Cradishville, a teammate of hers at Muskego. So state titles there, a lot of experience for her as well.
We got Shelby Bush. She had 10 appearances for CCIW champs North Central College, and she will feature for
St. Norbert, yeah.
St. Norbert Soccer in 2024. Shelby was an all-conference and all-county player at Burlington High School, so that's very good and going to make the defense better.
Yeah, keeping it local as well. And then we go back into it. Another returner, Adriana Rodriguez. She was a lot of usage last year. 10 USLW matches. She appeared in 17 games for Parkside, over 1,200 minutes. 3 assists as well from that kind of defensive midfield position for her at Parkside. So a lot of experience in defense, and that's kind of the theme that we're seeing here with a lot of these defenders.
Yep, we got Ellie Redmond. She's from Milwaukee, Wisconsin soccer to Racine. The freshman defender was a star at Libertyville High School, and she scored 21 goals and 15 assists as a senior. She was also the number 27 recruit in the Midwest coming out of high school, so she seems to be amazing. So great to get her.
Yeah, and then we'll close it out. Emma Parascos from Valparaiso, multiple-time all-conference selection with Warren Township. I know it's another school that we see a lot of talent coming out of, and we see a lot of talent, especially on the boys' side, is coming to us in the academy from Warren Township. Emma Parascos, another Warren Township soccer player. So this defense, a good mix of new players and returning players, but the biggest thing is experience and a lot of minutes for a lot of these defenders.
No, exactly. Like the number one thing from last year going into ending last year is we brought a lot of high school kids that were just finishing off when they finished out their high school season. They joined us, and the athleticism just skyrocketed. And our defense is ridiculously athletic. Megan McNeely as a freshman, when she came to us last year as an outside back, it was just brought that athleticism up. Athena McGinn was injured a lot last year, nagging injuries. She's 100% healthy now, so we'll get to see what her level of athleticism is. Lizzie, she's a great leader. She's a great team person, team builder. I've known her since she was 9-10 years old from my youth club. Ella Labarsky, Polonia kid, right? There's a lot of Polonia ties on here also. Just the newbies, the new ones that we brought in. Great team players, great athletes. Adria, I'm gonna give her a shout out. Adriana, I've known her since she was 3. She's my neighbor. She is a fantastic athlete, hard worker, very durable. The only reason she didn't have 12 games is because she was injured, right? Otherwise, she would have played just about every minute in every game last year for USLW. And same thing at Parkside. She is just a fantastic kid, fantastic person. Love that she's back with us again. Ellie Redmond, right? That is, as a defender, right? Playing 1 year of high school, having those attacking statistics. That's fantastic to have. She's a hard-nosed player, plays aggressive. Very fortunate to have her. Emma Parasco's bringing her in. You mentioned Warren Township High School. There's a reason. There's a lot of kids that came through the school that I teach at. My school district feeds in, and I know the coaching staff there. It's a short 35 minutes away from the stadium. Same thing with Libertyville. We have a lot of ties down there. My coaching staff, as well as me personally teaching down that area for 25 years. So that's how we get them.
Yeah, there's the defense for 2024. We're going to move into the midfield. Start off with a newcomer from UAB, Alabama Birmingham, in Brielle Rochester. She appeared in 13 matches as a redshirt freshman, so a new face for RKC in the midfield as well. And keeping up with new faces, another one from Eastern Illinois, and Kylie Mahoney.
She's a red first freshman season with Eclair, Wisconsin,
Eastern Illinois,
UW Soccer. And then 2023, she appeared in 7 games, tallying her first collegiate assist against Illinois Springfield. So
yeah, another new face.
Building experience up.
We'll go back to the returners. First one, Maddie Bursch from Winona State, redshirt freshman. She competed in 4 varsity sports in high school. I mean, athlete. We talk about athleticism. And another one who just finished her redshirt freshman season was Sophia King with Concordia St. Paul. She appeared in 9 games, scored 1 goal, 10 games in the W League last year. And I do want to mention this because it was in a game that I was at last year where she got RKC's first red card in USLW League play. No, we won't hang on that for too long, but I do want to throw that out there. Interesting stat for her, another returner in the midfield. So some more experience for Sophia King.
Natalia Stadler, she just finished her freshman season with UWL Soccer, and she appeared in 13 matches, so building that experience up.
And then we'll go back to the new player in Ella Skelton, 2 seasons with Loyola Chicago, the Ramblers. She's made 27 appearances, 5 starts. She was All-State with, as you mentioned, Wayne, Warren Township.
Yep.
And then Alexis Betker from WIU, another returner for RKC. And I know Coach Burke, has talked a lot about her and bringing her back in the midfield as well. So she's made 15 appearances at WIU, which is a D1 program. So good to have her back as well.
Ellie Rose Pieta, the College of St. Benedict sophomore, has appeared in 19 games for CSB, and she scored 2 goals and added on an assist, and she made 10 USLW League appearances last year.
And we'll close it off with a newcomer, Amanda Pankowitz. She is going to be a freshman at Eastern Illinois in the upcoming fall. She's listed as kind of like a wingback, so I threw her in the midfield section because I assume, play forward. I know Coach Burke wants to attack a little bit more this year, put some more balls in the back of the net. But she was a state champion at Muskego 22-23 and 23 as well. Sorry, 2022 and 2023 as well. So once again, another Muskego tie, and she's going to the same college as goalkeeper at Cratchville. So midfield, really deep midfield, and a lot of experience and a lot of newcomers. I think that's the theme we're seeing here is bringing back some key returners, but then adding some really important newcomers.
And a lot of it comes down to just athleticism, right? It's again, a lot of young, first, second year college players, athleticism. Again, some personal shout outs. Maddie Burr, she was injured coming off of a ACL injury she got during her senior year of high school. Last year, I coached her since she was 7. Coached her with her boys program, so she's just a hard-nosed, tough player. Great kid, very coachable. Love that she's healthy and back with us. Again, a whole bunch of Polonia girls that played at Muskego, that have state championship pedigrees. They're going off to good schools. Fantastic program with Polonia, where we know that we're getting some solid players, good skill, just aggressive, hard soccer players. Again, Ella Skelton, right? We tried to recruit her last year to get her in. Her boyfriend actually is Max Floriani, who played for us. He's at SLU this year, staying down there. Was with the League 2 team last year. Finally got her to come up. Another one of the students that I had at my school. And again, it's just athleticism. That's the biggest upgrade that we made from last year to this year.
And keeping with the athleticism, I mean, this is the unit that I'm most excited about to watch. Obviously, the forwards, you lose Haley Johnson from last year. She's playing professionally in Australia now. Obviously, wish her the best. We're trying to stay updated on where she's at in Australia right now with Preston Lions. And we'll talk about, what it means to get her down there in a little bit, Wayne. But first off, and this is the first signing that we had announced, Jaden Masters, University of Houston, Bermuda national team as well. She scored 3 goals on national duty. She played high school at IMG Academy. Talk about an explosive player. Jaden Masters is exactly that. She's going to put some balls in the back of the net this year for RKC. And then the next one is a returner from Marquette and Haley Christensen. And I know we saw a lot of her last year, and she put the ball in the back of the net as well. And Molly O'Regan also is a star in this RKC team. She's going to be the focal point of this offense. When you talk about 4 goals last year in the USLW League, she scored against Minnesota Aurora. I watched that goal back, and it was a crazy back-to-front play. Goalkeeper, a little flick on in the midfield, and then Molly runs in behind and puts the ball in the back of the net. And that's really all you can ask for from a forward is when you get those scoring opportunities, you score. She scored 7 goals for Milwaukee in the fall as well. So good, really big signing in Jaden Masters, and then Haley and Molly, the returners, to continue that offensive prowess. And the next one is a new signing from Illinois, Chicago, in Elizabeth Weinberg.
Yep. She was a forward that spent 2 years at Carroll University, and she led the Pioneers in goals and assists during her time there. So, setting other people up, making plays for herself, really good to see. She was also a 2 times All-CC IW honoree, including first-team All-Conference in 2022. So, big forward there to have.
Next one, returner, Paige Baird, one of the youngest players in the USLW League last year. Bring her back. She made 11 appearances, 443 minutes for USLW League last year. Another big player to have back, and the experience I know is going to be very beneficial for her as she continues to pave her way towards college soccer. And then closing out the roster is Abby Rowland, who just finished her sophomore year at Marquette. She was a member of the Big East All-Academic team, and then in 2019, I know she was a national champion with Salvo. So you've got some big-time names here in the forward group, Wayne. I mean, what are your thoughts on this unit?
I just kudos to John. I know Jaden came to us. You helped facilitate that. Very excited to get Jaden, a young player, with a lot of experience, just even an international experience coming to us. I know she's transferring in the portal right now, heading out to make a decision on her next school. But very excited to get her in the town and practicing with us. Again, Haley came in, athleticism. Molly O'Regan had a phenomenal year this past fall with Milwaukee, scoring 7 goals, becoming a focal there and continuing to be with us. Just learning that game at that high level for League Two or W League with us. Elizabeth, right? Weinberg. She stepped up from Carroll to Division One with UIC. Saw some action there, but again, a local kid that not a big drive to get here, and can add depth and athleticism to that front line. Paige, you said it right, youngest. She's only a sophomore, finishing her sophomore year. She played last year, 11 games as a freshman in high school. She's foregoes her high school season to spend time with us. But that's our investment in the younger talent. And her first game, she played against Bavarians, turned a D1 defender that had accolades, and she looked like she belonged immediately. And so she is one that will probably play a more prominent role this year. Still young, but still going to be, I think, very impactful. Have impact this year and be very, very impactful for us in the years to come. And used to get ready to college. I think it's probably get ready for pros. So very excited about that.
And Karsten, for you, what's the unit that you're most excited about? We've talked, goalkeeper is very strong, defending, midfield, forwards. What's the unit you're most excited to watch in this upcoming season?
I'm excited to watch the defenders. I really like defense.
Big 1-0 guy? You like a 1-0 scoreline?
Yeah,
I do.
Games? I do.
For
5-0 every time is better for me.
Yeah.
Well, goal scoring helps us in the broadcast, helps us clip some highlights as well. But
Exactly.
I know we've got a safe sponsor in Camp Shutout this year. So if the defending and the saves are doing well, I know Camp Shutout will be very happy with that as well. So we're gonna step aside for a little bit. We're running through some ads, make some money here. But also when we come back, we've got our divisional rundown. So we're gonna talk about all the opponents that we're gonna be playing in the 2024 season. So we'll be right back on Talking 260.
Located in southeast Wisconsin, come discover Racine County. Plan your visit today at visitracinecounty.com.
Welcome back to Talking 262. We've done the roster rundown. Now we get a look at some of the opponents for 2024. The quick look at the division: Minnesota Aurora, River Light, Bavarian, Rochester, and then Aurora FC as well. I think I'm missing one there off the top of my head. I know there's 2 Chicago teams in Chicago City, Chicago Dutch Lions
yep.
as well. So we're going to start, and I'm just going to run through, every single team. We're going to start with Aurora. They finished first last year, went undefeated in the regular season. But a big head coaching change. Nicole Luedtke steps into the U.S. Federation program. She's scouting now.
Fantastic job for her. Opportunity. Great for her.
So Montgomery steps in. But Nicole Luedtke, great opportunity for her.
She's a Wisconsin girl. She's from Brookfield. So there's a lot of ties in a lot of these programs from Wisconsin.
Yeah, but she went undefeated in the regular season during 2 years there,
2 years, yeah.
Which is crazy. And we know the support that Aurora get year in, year out. Their stadium's great at the TCO Viking Stadium. They made it all the way to the conference finals. They beat Chicago City 1-0 in the first round of the playoffs. Second round of the playoffs, they lost to Indy 11, who ended up being the eventual champions. So, that's a head held high moment. You can walk away from that season knowing, hey, the only team we lost to throughout the whole year went and won the whole thing. So, obviously Aurora are going to aspire to get back there. They've got a couple of really high-level returners. First off, the Rapp triplets. Kat Rapp, Remy Rapp are really good, and they're good to go. Eli Rapp is still recovering from injury, And another forward that's recovering from injury is Maya Hansen from South Dakota State. But she scored left, right, and center last year for both Aurora and for Minnesota or for South Dakota State. So a really talented forward. As soon as she gets healthy, we know that she'll be right back in the starting lineup. Couple of departures for Aurora, and no surprise. Tiana Harris heads over to France to play professionally. Abby Ostrom over in Serbia. Kelsey Kafusi gets drafted by the Portland Thorns in round 2 with pick number 25. So 3 big-time departures, but it's 3 big steps up in the pro game from Aurora. And then a couple of really good additions for Aurora. We knew they were going to retool their squad after losing some talent in Harris and Ostrom and Kafusi. So Jada Zoe, a midfielder from Italy, who was the points leader at Texas Tech, joins, as well as a goalkeeper from Hawaii and Sophie Augustine. And then Aurora has just continued to expand, kind of like RKC has, but they're expanding in the women's game. They've gone and added MN Aurora FC2, which is in the UPSL Women's League. I know they've got a couple of players that played for the first team last year that are now playing for that Aurora FC2. The first one that comes out of to my mind is goalkeeper Groutman. Olivia Groutman has dropped down to play with FC2. I think she'll get more minutes there, and I think it's a good growing opportunity for Aurora to expand their brand into the UPSL women's side and continue to bring in more players. And Karsten, this is a good team. There's no doubt about it. But I think the way that they continue to retool and the fans that they bring to every game, and they've really kind of established themselves in that Minneapolis area. It's really good to see.
Yeah, it is great to see. I love their team. I think they're a really good team. The only concern I would have is they might start a little bit slower with the newcomers coming in, with these people getting drafted, going pro. But they're going to be just fine.
Wayne, same sentiment, really. They're always good.
They are the bar for the entire league. They draw 6,000 plus people a game for home games on a weeknight in May. That's
insane.
I would love to have half that every game. They are a class organization. They do a very, very good job. They treat their players well, right? That's what we strive to get to as an organization. It's exciting that they're adding a Aurora 2 team. On the women's side, it's a great opportunities are expanding for the women's game at the lower levels of play. And the pro, right, you have USL Super League coming online this fall, right, playing an international calendar. That'll expand opportunities for pros. You'll have second and third division pros leagues will be coming on soon as well. It's just great opportunities to be in the women's game.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, USL Super League is now Division I sanctioned, so it's right up there with the NWSL in terms of the U.S. soccer pyramid, which is really big. I know the USL was really happy about that assignment, as well as I know the teams that are joining are very excited about having that Division I pro opportunity in America.
Yeah, we'll see how definitely see how the international calendar goes, playing August through May.
It might be a little cold.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes with some of the northern teams. Might be on the road for a month or so, or just take a break. As some of the Nordic countries do in Germany, between their league, between December, January, and then get back after a winter break.
Next team that we have on the list is Chicago City SC. Their head coach last year was Ian Ware, and we don't know anything on their social media about head coaches this year. We also don't have much in terms of player signings from them, but we're sure. It's Chicago. It's a hotbed for soccer talent. They drew a lot from the Big Ten last year, as well as a couple of really big signings from the ACC, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see that again. Last year, 8-1-3, they were second, and then obviously lost in the first round of the playoffs to Aurora in that 1-0 game. But, Chicago City, another team that really good, really well established, and a team that is in a big soccer city, and a team that I think you look at the competition now in Chicago with Dutch Lions, with River Light, and I think it'll be fun to see those 3 teams battle out in that city, and I think we're all excited to kind of see how that the Chicago battles play out this year. I don't know. What's the sentiment for you?
Yeah, no, Chicago City is right. They were down there was a difficult game for us, right, early in the season. When we played them at home, it was a very, very competitive game early on, and into the second half, and then just their depth and athleticism, right, took over, and that's for us, right, our depth and athleticism has improved a lot for this year. So hopefully we can look to be competitive with them. River Light, I think, is going to surprise a lot of people coming off. They are combination of some people from Dutch Lions as well as Chicago City, and they're doing everything right now.
Oh yeah,
Both
we'll
of them
talk.
are
We'll
really
talk. Yeah, but you said everything I want to say about it.
Yeah.
Like we'll get there.
There we go.
Carson, for you, I mean, Chicago City is a team that beat us twice last year, and they're a really well-established program, and they've got a really good complex. I think they're moving this year to play at Loyola Chicago
Correct.
as well, so an even better stadium than the one they were at last year. So I mean, a lot of big ties for them in Chicago, and it's a big market as well.
Yeah, they beat us twice last year. They're a really good team. I'm excited to see what they bring, but I like what we got coming at RKC too.
That's a good sentiment to have, good mentality. We'll move down to Rochester FC. Head coach is Deb Nichols. She's the first season. She's also a coach at RCTC, which is Rochester Community and Technical College. She's replacing Eric Fiel, who's stepping down to coach their USL Academy. Last year, they were 1-0-11 with a single win against second place in the division, Chicago City. We beat them twice. The first game was a 3-2 win away, and then they came here. We beat them 1-0, and that goal was Haley Johnson from a free kick about at midfield, which is a really great goal to see. A couple of notable returners for RFC. Emanak, the goalkeeper from South Dakota State. Ana Ricarte Pacheco returned. She was their leading goal scorer last year. And Jada Brown, who went and played pro in Poland, but then also came back to our RFC for this summer. We saw her last summer, and she had about 5 or 6 scoring chances against us last year. So she's a dynamic forward for that RFC side. A couple of departures for RFC. Alyssa Mizutani, who was second on the team in goals, no longer there. Coco Alcalde, the other goalkeeper that played alongside Emanak, is now with California Storm in the USLW/UPSL leagues. And Madison Salas, who was the captain last year for a majority of the games, she is no longer with the team. She graduated from LSU Shreveport. A couple of big additions for RFC. Madison Tuma joins from Bavarian United, so cross team transfer in the division, which will be interesting to see. Riley Schneider joins from Northern Colorado, and Ida Kardovic from Creighton. So Rochester's a team that, they didn't have the greatest year last year, but stepping forward and going into this season, they made a lot of really good changes.
Yeah, they played hard. It was such an exciting game up there last year. Just back and forth. It was could have been anybody's game. Good guys won on that one, but it was just an exciting match. They played hard. Their forwards gave us all we could handle. A lot of just very dynamic players. Their goalkeeper, who was the starter last year.
Oh, you'll have to.
She played such a high line, like midfield line. Just like playing with their feet. I think sometimes that got them in trouble. And I think with our athleticism, our returners and their additions, I think that'll be really, really competitive. Again, they'll play hard. I think we'll come out again on top. So.
And Karsten, for you, I mean, you were there last year in that 1-0 game where Haley Johnson scores that midfield goal. I mean, looking ahead of this season, a lot of changes on both sides. Both teams really adding to their rosters. What do you think between, a team that's made a lot of changes in Rochester?
I think they're a good team. They played hard. They made it such a close game with RKC. It was really down to the wire. They've made some good changes. We made some good changes. Excited to see how it plays out.
All right, we'll move on now to Chicago Dutch Lions, the other team in the Chicago area. Head coach is Annie Gerdes. She's the head coach at Knox College. This is her first season at the helm of Chicago Dutch Lions. Last year, they were 7-0-4, third place in the Heartland Conference. A couple of notable returners for them. The first one, Adriana Baruti from Southern Indiana. 10 games played for her last season in the W League. Megan Norquette comes back from Northwestern, a Big Ten player who played in about half their games last year for CDL. And then a couple of big additions for them. Brinkley Douglas comes in from Richmond. Grace Soltez, the outside back from Holy Cross. Nova Roethlisberger, who's the goalkeeper at Missouri Western State. I had to include her because one of my good friends is the strength coach at Missouri Western State, so it's fun to see that we'll be getting to play against a player from Missouri Western State. But once again, Chicago Dutch Lions, really big hotbed for Chicago soccer talent, and another team that, make a couple of changes. You have the head coaching change as well. Finished third, looking to finish around the same spot for them as well this year.
No, it was good matches that we had with them. Last year, our first goal came against them. Alexis Baker scored. Down there, it was we struggled athletically to be with them. They had one outside wing player, just fast as fast can be. She killed us. Got a lot of opportunities. When they were up by us, we just couldn't convert on goals. We were right there with them. We had I think we had better run of play most of the time, and a lot of shots, quality opportunities that we just didn't convert, and we ended up losing later on again when we brought comparable athleticism. We're right there again. That's why I'm so optimistic and excited for this season coming up.
Kind of the same. I mean, it's a new team, new head coach. We saw that with a team like Rochester, a lot of head coaching changes in the league. Aurora, even with a head coaching change. Carson, what do you think? I mean, do you think it's a slow start again for them, kind of like Aurora? You get adjusted to a new coach?
Yeah, I do, because I just feel like stepping in coaching, they might be onto you. It could go either way, because they haven't seen how that person coaches. They don't know their strategies. I think it's going to be a slower start, though, but I think they're going to get into it, though. They're going to start getting some confidence, winning some games.
Next up, that's the other team in Wisconsin, in Bavarian United SC. No more Green Bay Glory, which, sucks a little bit for the state of Wisconsin, but they're still a team. They're playing now in the WPSL instead of the USLW League. But so this is the only Wisconsin derby we're going to get this year, is between RKC and Bavarian. This will happen on both the men's and the women's side, so it'll be fun to be at those two matches, both home and away. Only about a 30-minute drive into the city of Milwaukee to get to the Bavarian Soccer Complex. For them last year, 5-1-5 record. They were fourth in the Heartland. They returned Molly Kuiper, the defender from Marquette, who scored 9 goals. Kate Cullison, who scored 4 goals for them. The defender from Marquette, who appeared in 9 games, scored 1 goal. Kate Cullison, who appeared in 10 games and scored 4 goals. They had the departure of Madison Tuma, who went to RFC. They've added a couple of really good players in Sophia and Lucia England. Both of them are forwards from St. Thomas and Butler, respectively. And then they've also added Caroline Klein, another defender from Marquette, who, she's got all the accolades possible at Marquette in terms of playing all the games, getting an all-conference nod. And this is a matchup that I'm really excited for. I know we all are, because it's the only Wisconsin derby we're going to get. Yep. It's a short drive. We're hoping the fans, travel both ways. It's a fun park to be at. I love the Bavarian Soccer Complex.
Yeah, no, it's nice. It's very intimate, a little bit more intimate than Pritchard Park. But a lot of tradition there on the men's side, and they're building that on the women's side. I know last year they had an older team, right? So they had an experienced team coming in from playing in WPSL the prior years, and so there's I think they've retooled a lot in terms of us. Same story as it was with everybody. Our first game, right, and was a struggle. Tried to compete. As we got our athletes in, games were better. I think I was up at Rochester with the men when the women were playing Bavarians last year, and I know that there was some controversy with some calls that were made, and so it was, I think, it denied some opportunities for us to score, and it was a very competitive game, though. So again, looking for that again this year, right off the bat, to be competitive, and right, you got to have rivals and keep it nice and friendly, so to speak.
Do we have a name for the rivalry yet?
We don't. We tried working on that last year. If we want to call it the I-94, but they're not really I-94. They're off.
A little bit off, yeah.
So it would be good to get one.
Yeah, we'll have to get in touch with them and maybe get a trophy going here
we'll have
soon.
To get a beer sponsor for it.
Beer sponsor as well, obviously. But Carson, growing the game in Wisconsin is kind of the whole point of this league, and it's good to see Bavarian, who have been so historically dominant in terms of men's amateur play. They've something like 9 national championships. I can't count the stars on top of their crest because it's a lot of them. But it's good to see them in the women's game stepping forward as well. And I think 2 games last year didn't go your way, but once again, retooled, and it's a derby match. I feel like every game, in these derbies where you're playing against a rival, it can go either way.
Yeah, I totally feel with the rival aspect of it. It's going to be close. They're all going to come hard to play. It's going to be fun to watch. The rivalry games are always fun to watch, I feel like. But I think that they're a good program, but I think RKC is a good program. I think it'll be some good games to watch, some exciting action.
Finally, we get to talk about River Light FC. And Wayne, you mentioned it a little bit, but for the first time, the team in Aurora is actually based in Aurora now. So River Light steps in. General manager Heather has done really well in terms of everything from running a club to bringing in talent to the administrative staff. Their head coach is Charlie Latshaw III. He's coaching both the men's and the women's side. So I can't imagine how busy he is on a day-to-day basis, but he's joining them from Chicago Dutch Lions. Obviously didn't play last season because this is their first year in the league. A couple of notable players, Bella Najera from Michigan State, Bella Diorio from TCU, Sam Bodensteiner from Duke. This is a team that, I mean, it's set to make some waves this season in terms of the way that, they've been promoting their club and the way that they have, established themselves in a social media landscape, something that we're trying to do here.
Yep.
But also, I think the combining of two different club aspects. You've got some people from Chicago City, some people from Dutch Lions joining to make this club, and also their logo is really good.
We went further though.
We did go further in the fan vote, but their logo is done really well.
They did a nice job.
And
branding is fantastic.
it's exciting to watch, and you have to say, like, to lose a team like Green Bay sucks, but it's also a closer drive for us to get to Aurora, so it makes it a little bit less of a blow with Green Bay leaving. Now that you add a team in Riverlight, it's a little bit closer to us, a little bit more manageable for some of the away fans to get to. But I mean, you mentioned it, Wayne. Really exciting program.
It is. I just looking at the quality of player that they're signing and bringing in, like you said, Heather she's running a class organization and just doing it very, very well. On the women's and men's side, but with the women, it's like they're going to be competitive from the jump, and right, they're going to be tough to play, and that's exciting. That's the level of soccer that we want for W League, and we want this to be the best amateur league in the country, and this is where we want talent to come, and that helps us as a division and helps us as a league and as a region, just to say this, this is where you need to come. And if the more competitive we can be with the Chicago teams, the big teams such as Aurora, it's just going to grow our brand and our ability to attract talent and retain talent and just develop talent here.
Yeah, I mean, Karsten, this is a team that's set for success in year one, and we went through it last year at RKC, and not me, but you guys went through it last year in terms of the growing pains of an expansion team, but you bring in experience, it looks like this team's ready to go.
I love what Riverlight's building. So you got the head coach with some experience from Chicago Dutch Lions, Charlie Latshaw III. Then you get some notable players, and if you think about it, if you're an expansion team, you got all the talent coming from here, there, everywhere. We got Michigan State, TCU, Duke. I love what they're building there.
Sorry, go ahead.
It's okay. No one knows what to expect from them because they're an expansion team, so they're going to come out there. I think they're going to start really hot, and I think it's going to continue to go for the season.
Yeah.
Right. The benefit is a lot of these kids they're local, right? They're coming from a half hour away, which is a huge, right, a pool of 5 to 6 million people.
Right. Yeah. Chicago is always going to be a hotbed, and
great opportunity, and to see them put that together is it's awesome.
Yeah, it's good to see you, and I know Riverlight's going to be an exciting game to go to. They're playing at the same place that Dutch Lions is playing, at Spartan Athletic Complex over in Aurora, so that'll be fun to watch. And now we're going to send it to the predictions. For the audio listeners, if you're listening on Spotify, I'll run you through mine real quick. First, I had Minnesota Aurora, followed up by Riverlight, then Chicago City, and then 4 through 7, I think, is quite literally a coin flip. I think every single team here could finish as high as 3rd, finish as low as 7th. RKC, I had them in the order of RKC 4th, Bavarian 5th, Chicago Dutch Lions 6th, or Rochester 7th. But once again, I mean, this is a stacked division. And I think this division and the Indy 11 division are two of the best divisions in all of the W League. Maybe some of the West Coast ones are good as well, but I think the Heartland is right up there in terms of talent. And Karsten, you got for a bit of a shocker here. First season, Riverlight, talk to me about it.
Yeah, I love what they're doing. I think they're going to come shock some people. They're building a really good program over there. Expansion team, no one knows to expect. But I really like what they're doing, and I think, like, Aurora being so dominant that year before, they might come out, like, a little bit more super confident than Riverlight. If they're coming in right away, they feel like they got nothing to lose, and then play that way, you're going to play dangerous.
So you got Riverlight first. Run us through the rest. Run us through the rest of your predictions.
Then I got Aurora coming in second, RKC Third Coast Third, and then, like you said, 4 through 7. I had such a hard time, even 3 through 7 through this list. Such a competitive list. Like, all these games could go either way. We got Bavarian, Chicago City, Chicago Dutch Lions, and then Rochester in 7th.
I mean, this is a competitive division, Wayne. There's no doubt about it. What do you? I don't know if you can give predictions. What do you just think about the division in general?
Our division is tough, right? Again, I think everybody Bavarian's brand new to it last year, us brand new to it last year, entering in with other teams, established teams. And then River Light coming in new, right? You got 3 programs that are all, you know, coming into their second year in the league, first or second year into the league, with established people, established teams. It's going to be competitive. It's going to be fun. I think it's really going to be a crapshoot night in and night out for everybody. You know, athleticism. It's always going to come down to athleticism. Getting good players. Can you stay healthy? The goal that we set out last year, you know, coming into this year for the women is to make the playoffs. Top 2 spots make that. So,
Yeah.
you know, that still is the goal. I think we're capable of it. In managing injuries and depth and athleticism, those are the 3 keys that we have, and I think that's pretty much what every team has. If you can navigate injuries because you have depth, athleticism in your depth, it's gonna be competitive all the way around. So my only prediction is playoffs is our goal.
RKC playoffs is the goal. We'll see if we can get there through. I mean, like you mentioned, tough division, a lot of really good teams, a lot of teams that have made really good changes as well. We'll step aside when we're back. We get to talk to you, Wayne, a little bit more about your soccer journey and how you ended up here in Racine running a club. So we'll take a break. We'll be right back here on Talking 262.
Located in southeast Wisconsin, come discover Racine County. Plan your visit today at visitracinecounty.com.
All right, we're back on Talking 262, and now we get to talk to one of the principal owners of RKC Third Coast, Wayne Howard. Wayne, first off, talk us through your soccer journey. Why do you love the sport so much?
I started playing when I was 4 years old. First sport I ever got into. I played up through high school. I went to college to wrestle. That was my second sport. Got injured wrestling got injured playing soccer after college summer season, and kind of found my way out of wrestling. Just the injury was very difficult to get out of in the early 90s, and found my way into coaching, and then back into playing, and then having kids. And it's that typical story of, oh, you got a little soccer background, come on in. Like I got into it to make sure my son had a good experience, my oldest, and it just kind of took off from there, going into just having a passion, getting into the board side of one of the local clubs here, Racine Area Soccer Association, becoming president of that, forming Racine United, all of those types of things. Creating a new club by merging with another club out of Kenosha for AFC Union, which is the club now in the area. And honestly, just you wake up one day and you're in the game for 48, 45, or your 49 years. It's like it goes fast.
So what was your motive behind bringing RKC Third Coast into the USL atmosphere?
So I'm going to turn it on to Arnav here, because you'll probably give the answer. Why did you come to RKC?
Oh, okay. Well, I think the one thing that I loved about coming into RKC has been ambition. I think last year because my job title, I should say, is director of media, and last year the media wasn't great, and I knew that firsthand because I'd been here for a couple of matches, and I looked at when we had talked, I said, you told me that there's a lot of room for improvement and that you would help me get there. And so I think the ambition of wanting to be, at a top level and wanting to continue to grow as much as possible. I think that's why I'm here, and I think that's what the USL brings as well. I think the USL is kind of the same way. You want all these high-level college players to come in and play for you, and grow the league as a whole, but also you want to give them those opportunities to go play pro. Like you see it in USL League One, you see it in the USL Championship, and now you'll see it in the USL Super League. You'll have all these players going in and playing professionally. And also, I just love the sport of soccer. And so I think it's the same with you. You love the sport so much, and you're able to bring it in now to your hometown.
Yeah, key word for me, as you say, is opportunity, right? So it's a lack of access and opportunity to high level soccer for the area, right? Number one, I saw all firsthand, thousands of kids that played through the organization I was with, and having to drive down to Chicago to see anything. And Bridgeview wasn't easy to get to, and to see fire, and then or it was indoor soccer with wave, right? So there was a lack of opportunity just in general in the market, or in the region, as well as just in our market. And I didn't want kids from Racine and Kenosha and Southeast Wisconsin to have a lack of opportunity to, one, view soccer at a high level, both boys and girls, or as well as have that opportunity to play there if they're good enough, right? And I know this was in our conversation as well as, is to provide opportunity for people to grow, right? Karsten from last year coming in with us, giving that opportunity to grow. You, director of media, this is your baby. I'm here to support you, and that's what I tell our players and our coaches is I work for you, right? I'm going to make sure that I can help you achieve and get the opportunities that you want. And if I can help by, blending some of my experiences to running an organization, connections in the soccer community to do that, that really is a driving force day in and day out for me is seeing those opportunities. On the men's side last year, Sean going to from Marquette, not getting that job, but then going to Michigan as associate head coach, right? He even said his experience with us is what he used and was the key selling point to get that job, and for him to see and possibly look in the future of, does he want to go to the pro game? Like Hayden, who was our goalkeeper coach and Sean's assistant last year, he got a UIndy, a top D2 school as an assistant coach because of that opportunity with us last year. Ethan Ford playing at Northern Colorado, that opportunity came because of us and his time here. He scored goals with us, not anywhere else, and he's doing a fantastic job. You're following him for us, right? Just congratulations. The opportunities for Haley to be seen in a high level program, going off and signing in Iceland, and then going to Australia. You look at Logan Farrington, the number 3 pick in the MLS draft to Racine, played at Union Grove, right? He played club for us for a little while, my club back in the day with Racine United, and scored his first pro goal a few days ago down in Chicago. Just that opportunity, he had to go to California to play League Two, right? If it was here, he probably would have started getting those opportunities as a 17-year-old, 18-year-old, right? And it's just seeing those opportunities for high-level players to be there, one, but then as an organization, just for everybody to expand and to go. And most of these jobs are going to be temporary, right? We can have you for 2 years. I would love that. You're building out our department. If Karsten can be here for a few years, go off to college, right? Anything we can do is just to build something sustainable, but get those opportunities for people to get a leg up in whatever career it is or whatever their goal might be.
So we talked a little bit about expansion earlier. You bring a couple of teams into USL Youth. You add a USL Academy team this year. You're adding another USL Academy team next year for the women's side. What's next after that? Do you want to keep expanding into further youth side? Do you have the
world
mentality for that, right?
Just world domination.
Where do you see this club in a couple of years?
So next year, right, we're trying to be strategic and just add a little bit each year. We felt that opportunity was right when the market showed it was right. Right now it's three boy and 3 girl teams with youth. Next year it's hoping to have U11, single age group or 2 age group combination teams. So U11 through U16, and then 2 academies focusing on the high school ages, and through 19s. Honestly, on the men's side, it's looking at probably stepping up the current group of academy. We'll make League 2 team roster next year. Some will, some might not be ready, but then turn that reserve, what we have now as academy, in a reserve team into probably play UPSL or MPL to play against grown men as 18, 19-year-olds.
So for you, what was the best part of that first season? We talk about expansion. Now I want to bring it to the past. We know that first season for the men's and women's teams. What was the best part for you watching it?
Just to know that we were able to pull it off, honestly, right? So Brian Zakowski, huge thanks to him. He had to pull back a bunch this year due to personal reasons, right? Not family and just busy, professional. We all have real jobs. Ivan Petrovic, same thing, some family stuff pulled away. Both still help where they can. Brian's son is going to be playing in academy. Owen, he's a senior at Union Grove. Again, it's a lot of those kids that just won a state title in the fall. They all played for us coming up. And, can you provide opportunities for those types of players at all the high schools to see and be attracted to it, right? So, personally seeing that state championship and knowing that that's what we've done in the past has paid off, and knowing right now what we're doing is going to pay off in the future because we see the evidence of it, just with that effort put in. And then honestly, on the women's side, it was just the amount of players that are coming back, the young talent that we invested in last year that went off to their schools and are coming back more polished, and that they had a great experience even though we finished near mid-table, right? Just the culture that John put in place, like they all wanted to come back. They're all motivated, and we have more people that want to come and play it. On the men's side, same thing, building the culture. Sean and John both fit what we wanted as a culture in terms of how they treat players, in terms of style of play, in terms of, how you view the program and us as an organization and our responsibility to them as players, right? Is to make them better and to give them opportunity. And for the men to make playoffs in year one, it was fantastic, right? That was, that doesn't happen all the time. It rarely ever happens. And to be able to say we were one of the teams that did that was fantastic. I can't thank Sean enough, the players enough, just my partners enough. Everything just came together, and to see that happen, 3 guys that just were soccer dads, and to see it get to, year 2 here, right, is just, I have to think back and be grateful for that, and not, get caught in the day-to-day grind. But just understand that it's a great opportunity for us. And just, it's hard to do, and we did it.
What was the feeling like when you learned that there was one player, Haley Johnson for the women and Ethan Hurd for the men, that they were going pro from each team?
So exciting. We kind of were up to date on Haley's progress throughout. Same with Ethan's. Haley left us and started going out right away because she was done with school. Ethan still had a semester left in a season of play at UC Davis. But John really helped. John's known Haley for a while. He helped get her with a good agent that got her opportunities. Once you get your first contract and you play overseas as a pro, it opens other doors for you. So ecstatic, so happy. She played youth for my former club as well, up through U11, up through U15, U16, I think. Just to see somebody that you see grow as a person, as a player, to achieve that dream. Again, that's what this is about. And then Ethan, while never playing for our club, he played out on the fields that we have, and just to be a Racine kid, to get that opportunity, and just needed one person to believe in him to get that contract, because we knew he could score. He 12 goals in 9 games. It was ridiculous. And the only reason he didn't play in 12 games is because he wasn't here for the first 3. He's still in school. And right, his stats in college didn't show a goal scorer because he was a defender. He played defender because that's what he needed. Great kid, great family, very coachable, very personable, right? He had the nickname from all the little kids, Neymar, because he scored, and just great with kids, and he's just be a great pro. And I know that he will advance past League One and through the ranks and championship, and he's got a great future, and he can be a scoring machine.
So that's our talk with you, Wayne, and I know that we are pushing it here on time. I know we got to get out of here before the fight closes, but we will do our look around the leagues. This is brought to you by Carthage College And we do want to remind you that Carthage College is one of our sponsors, and the 49th annual Carthage Athletics Golf Outing will be held on June 24th at the club at Strawberry Creek. Now named the Firebird Classic, the event is a great way to celebrate and support the more than 750 Firebird athletes that participate in Carthage College athletics. You can visit athletics.carthage.edu for registration and sponsorship information, or you can also just is up our because we haven't really talked about them that much. Two things the games to watch by Protagonist Soccer. It's our away trip to Thunder Bay Chill, and then the home trip that Thunder Bay will, or the home game that Thunder Bay will travel to us for. That matchup is bound to produce fireworks. The team that finished first, the team that finished second last year. How excited are you for Thunder Bay?
Fantastic, right? They're a great organization. It's just classic. Right? They treated us probably the best they treated for an away match up there. Just fantastic. Tony, just great people, and just they know the game. They're easy to work with, and just can't say enough good things about them. Just class act, all the way around. They got us twice. Right, we were shorthanded each time. You hate to say, oh, if we had this guy or that guy or this guy, but we were missing 4 or 5 starters each time we played them, and both matches were competitive. It would have been great to just see a full side against them, but they bring it every year. They know what they're doing as an organization. They know how to get players, and they coach them well, and they will be tough. Side note, we are also a game to watch that USL identified us against Minneapolis City.
Oh, really?
So 2 organizations
there we go.
deemed us as games to watch.
And Minneapolis City is always a fun one as well. They have a great fan base, and I think they do a lot of things right in terms of the way that they want to promote soccer at the lower level. And we always see them in our Twitter mentions. It's fun to interact with them. They were talking to Ethan Horde and how good he was as a scorer last year when he started scoring in the U.S. Open Cup. So it's always fun. Those matches against the Crows will be a fun bird matchup with us technically being the Seagulls, even though that's not official yet. We don't have that bird cut out just yet. But that's going to be a fun one to watch. I mean, Karsten, anything like what matchup for the men's are you most excited for in terms of League Two play?
I think they're all going to be fun to watch.
Making the playoffs last year as well. Another thing to look at in our division is there's actually a matchup going on between 2 teams in our division tonight, but it's not a USL 2 affiliated matchup. This one is in the Minnesota Super Cup. I've been seeing a lot about this on Twitter. Minneapolis City and Rochester FC. Apparently, I looked in the Minnesota Super Cup. It's 6 teams, all based in Minnesota. I think the Minnesota United U19s are there.
Yep.
You got a couple of NPSL and UPSL teams, and then 2 USL League 2 teams, or 3 USL League 2 teams, I should say, in St. Croix Legends, Minneapolis City, Rochester FC. They're playing tonight. I think it's 6 p.m. So if you want to get some intel on 2 of our opponents, you can check them out. I think they're playing somewhere on YouTube if you want to look at them and do some scouting for us here at RKC. And I mean, it'll be fun to watch. Always interested in high-level soccer, and that's a really fun competition idea for them.
Yeah. Yep. Wisconsin will be have tried to get it going this year. There's a small one going on right now. We're not in it. I think that's something in the future that we will be participating in when.
We should start talking about what schedule ahead. When we actually start playing games. Next episode, we're going to try to do one next Friday, maybe next Saturday. Bring on maybe a couple of more staff members or maybe a couple of players we can get here into the office. But other than that, I mean, final words before I thank our sponsors. Anything from you Wayne, or you, Karsten?
I'm just excited for the season. Glad to have new additions to staff, coaching staff. Every year, just trying to get a little bit better. And I think that thus far we've done that, and very, very grateful of people like yourself putting confidence and trust in us to come spend a summer with us and, help us as an organization, keep growing. So thank you.
Appreciate it. Karsten, anything?
I just want to say I appreciated the opportunity, and I'm excited what we got going on here, and it was fun.
We'll thank some of our sponsors here as we close off the episode. Visit Racine County. We're in their offices right now. I don't think we can ever do a live one because there's not much space in here when you look at the equipment we have, but thank them. They're our goal sponsor, our highlight video sponsor this season. Mosh Athletic Training is our athletic training services partner. Red Onion for the post-game meals. Camp Shutout for the save sponsor. Carthage, obviously, you mentioned the Look Around the Leagues presented by Carthage. They're helping us out with some equipment. So obviously, thank you. And if you're still interested in sponsoring us, you can reach out to us on social media or via our email, rkcsoccerclub@gmail.com. But that'll do it. First episode in the books. That's Wayne Howard, Karsten Luedtke. I'm Arnav Pokhrel. That was Talking 262. That was a very long episode. We'll hope to keep it short in the future. But as always, thank you for tuning in. And if you're listening on Spotify, thank you for listening. And we will see you next week.